Howdy guys, Jimmy Song here. In this video, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin Cash and what the heck is happening because apparently they are splitting. I don't know if you've heard about that, but this is kind of a big deal because they've already split once from Bitcoin. Now it seems like they're going to have a major split. So there's a hard fork scheduled in November, and you have one faction that wants to enable certain opcodes and so on, and another, and that's led more by Amory Sachet and some other of the developers, and then another faction led by Craig S. Wright. It's called like Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, Bitcoin SV or something like that, and they want to increase the block size from 32 megabytes to 128. Now, never mind that like their blockchain isn't used anywhere near as much as 128 megabytes or even 32 or even 8, right? Like there's very few transactions going through Bitcoin Cash. But you have these two camps, and apparently they have some amount of mining power on both. And there's a third group led by Cobra who's saying, okay, let's not split. Let's have some sort of compromise coin, and that also is a hard fork. So you have the potential of Bitcoin Cash splitting into three in November. So that's what's happening. Let's talk a little bit about why that's happening. The reason Bitcoin Cash started was from about a year ago. The entire user activated soft fork was about to occur, and that caused sort of a hard deadline for everyone to act. And one of the things that a lot of the miners did was they had a contingency plan. Okay, what do we do in case user activated soft fork goes through? And it was possible for their entire chain to get wiped out. So they said, okay, if they soft fork, then we need to hard fork and permanently fork off of everybody else. So they made something called Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin hard fork. That was the user activated hard fork, as they called it before, and that eventually became Bitcoin Cash. But that's what they had in mind. It was supposed to be a contingency plan. Turned out BIP91 made that completely irrelevant, and they didn't have to fork or whatever. But some of the people that were in that camp decided to fork anyway, and that created Bitcoin Cash. Now think about what happened there. The roots of Bitcoin Cash are within like sort of the miners, the corporate sphere, the people that wanted to see Bitcoin have bigger blocks and allow for hard forks and stuff like that. That was their vision. They wanted to sort of do their own thing. They wanted to split off. And what happens when you have a bunch of people that are like that in a community? Well, next time they disagree, they're going to split off again. And that's more or less what's happening here with Bitcoin Cash, is that you have one party, Amory Sachet, Jihan Wu, and some others, that are saying, okay, we want to enable all these opcodes so, we can go in a more smart contract-y direction. And you have Craig S. Wright, who's a complete scammer, by the way, but who wants to go more towards whatever he can control, right? Like it starts becoming a power play because it was led by a bunch of these personalities, right? It became a cult of personality, and that's why people went there in the first place. So when you go in that direction and continue in that direction, well, that's kind of what's gonna this is kind of inevitable when you have that when it's about personalities and not about self-sovereignty. When you have centralization and people disagree, well, they're gonna split off. So that's what's happening in Bitcoin Cash. I'm expecting some sort of a fork in November, perhaps even sooner. So keep your eye out on it. If you don't own any Bitcoin Cash, that's probably not that relevant to you, but it's an interesting social experiment to keep an eye on. Hope that helps you. This song is done.